flowers. What do you think? Should we put them over here? I could put them by you. That might look nice. Oh, hello, welcome friends to another of Cosette's Enchanted Journeys. I'm her storytelling friend, Jenny the Genie, and on behalf of Cosette and myself, we welcome you to our magic lamp. I'm walking around with these flowers in my hands because Cosette and I have decided to host a little party, and we were just throwing up some decorations to spruce up the lamp and make it look a little special. Do you like to have parties and set up decorations too? In fact, Cosette and I picked out a couple of stories that will go with our party planning and prep. One of them is about getting ready for a party and hosting a party and inviting friends over and all of the fun activities you can get into with your friends. And the other one is really just about balloons because Cosette and I both really like balloons. In fact, we like balloons so much that we have an activity picked out for us to do together back in our magic lamp after our story. So maybe we shouldn't wait any longer. We should get going and enjoy some stories and then come back here for some fun. Does that sound good to you? All right, let's rub our hands together and say with me, I wish to go on an enchanted journey and away on my magic carpet we fly. I wish to go on an enchanted journey. Welcome. Are you ready to read another story with me? We're going to be reading If You Give a Pig a Party by Laura Numeroff. Here we go. If you give a pig a party, she's going to ask for some balloons. When you give her the balloons, she'll want to decorate the house. When she's finished, she'll put on her favorite dress. Then she'll call all her friends to invite them to the party. Her friends won't be home, so you'll go with her to look for them. On the way, she'll see a street fair. She'll want you to take her on the bumper cars. All her friends will be there. Then you'll have to take her on all the rides. She'll want to play all the games too. When she's done, she'll ask you for some ice cream. When she's finished eating the ice cream, she'll need to change her clothes. You'll have to take her home. She'll ask her friends to come along. On the way, she'll start a game of hide and seek. When you finally get home, you'll have to make dinner. Then she'll want to have a sleepover. You'll have to find pajamas and blankets and pillows for everyone. When she sees the pillows, she'll probably start a pillow fight. Then she'll make a fortress out of her blankets. Of course, when she's finished, she'll want to decorate it. So she'll ask for some balloons. And chances are, if you give her some balloons, she's going to ask you for a party. The end. What did you think of If You Give a Pig a Party? Sounded like a lot of fun, didn't it? I especially like all the balloons. In fact, I have another short story for us, since this one was a bit short today, about balloons. It's a Curious George story. Would you like to read it with me now? The Curious George story I've picked out is called Curious George and the Parade. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today, George and his friend, the man with the yellow hat, were in the city for a big holiday parade. They found a place in the crowd, but an announcement had just been made. The parade may not start for a while, George, the man said. The wind is too strong for the big balloons. Let's go in the department store while we wait. George and his friend looked around the store as they waited for the wind to settle down. Suddenly, something strange caught George's eye. What could it be? He was curious. But when George looked out the window, he didn't see anything strange. He saw the parade. He saw floats, clowns, and jugglers, and a band standing in straight rows. Then George thought he saw an elephant eating a treat. That made George hungry. It had been a long time since breakfast. Now he could think only of finding a snack. Why, here was a treat just like what he ate in the jungle. Fresh nuts, right off the tree. George was lucky to be a monkey. He simply climbed out the window and jumped into the tree. Then he pulled and pulled, but the nuts would not come off the tree. They were not so fresh after all. In fact, they were not even real. But George did not know that. He pulled harder and harder. The tree began to sway. Suddenly, there was a loud snap. Then crash! Down came the tree, down came George, and down came all the nuts. Luckily, George was not hurt, but still he did not have a snack. He raced after the nuts. He chased them round the elephant and under the clown, then in and out of the band's straight rows. "My perfect rose!" the band leader cried. "You've ruined my perfect rose!" The band leader raced after George. He chased him down the street and around the corner, but he was not quick enough. Where was George? Soon, the band leader tired of searching and went back to straighten his rose. He did not know where the little monkey had gone. George was nowhere to be found. George was not sure where he had gone either, and the nuts were nowhere to be found. After all that, George had lost his snack. After all that, George had lost his way. Now how would he get back to the department store and back to the man with the yellow hat? Just then, a bus was stopping at the corner. George liked to ride the bus. Maybe it could take him back to his friend. Quickly, he hopped on the bus and away they went. From his seat on top, George could see everything. The bus rounded a corner. Here was something familiar, but something was wrong. 2 balloons had drifted off course. Their ropes were tangled. The parade helpers were trying to fix them, and a crowd gathered to watch. As the bus came to a stop, someone yelled, "Catch that monkey! He's ruined our parade!" It was the band leader, and he was pointing right at George. George did not want to be caught, but there was no way for him to get down. There was only one way to go. George grabbed a rope and went up. Up, up he climbed, higher and higher. He was a little frightened, but he held on tight. Then he heard someone call, "George!" It was the man with the yellow hat. George was happy to find his friend. The man was happy too. George swung from one rope to another. Now he felt like he was in the jungle swinging from vine to vine. "Look!" someone shouted from below. "The little monkey is fixing the balloons." Then George swung safely into the arms of the man with the yellow hat. The crowd below cheered. The ropes were no longer tangled. When George and his friend arrived back on the sidewalk, it was time to start the parade. The band leader was no longer angry. George was a hero. Even the mayor came to meet George. "I hear you created quite a stir, George," he said. "But at last, everything is in order. Would you like to ride with me in the parade?" Soon the balloons started moving, the music started playing, and the band marched down the street in straight rows. And there, leading the whole parade, was Curious George. What did you think of our story about Curious George and his friend, the man with the yellow hat, at the parade? That curious little monkey gets into a lot of mischief, doesn't he? But in most cases, it turns out okay. And this curious little piggy got some mischief of her own and created a lot of work for her owner throwing that party. What I liked about both of our stories today is they featured balloons. I really like balloons. Do you like balloons? There's all kinds of balloons. You can inflate balloons with helium and tie them up, like in this pig party story, so they float. You can get water balloons and have a water balloon fight with your friends outside. But there's another type of balloon that I want to share with you, and they're called rocket balloons, and they do something completely different than those other types of balloons I just mentioned. Would you like to go back with me to my magic lamp and see what a rocket balloon is? All right, let's do it together. And welcome back to the magic lamp, friends. And as you can see, as I promised, I have in my hand what I call rocket balloons. They don't look like very much at the moment, do they? But once I fill these with air, you'll see why they're called rocket balloons. Maybe you can guess why they're called rocket balloons before I even do that. I'm just gonna toss those ones down out of the way for a minute so that I can focus on one at a time. Okay, let's see what happens. As I'm blowing it up, they kind of look like the type of balloons that you use to make balloon animals, don't they? Okay. Now this is called a rocket balloon. What do you think is going to happen? Ready? 3, 2, 1. It went soaring away. Should we try another one? I think that we should. Let's try another one. We'll try this red one. These are a lot of fun to play with your family. And if you have pets, they might even enjoy these a little bit. I know my pets kind of enjoy chasing them around, especially my kitties. They make fun noises and they fly all over the room. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, that one was pretty quiet. It just went whoosh by. Let's try another one. I'm gonna try this orange one. They're a lot of fun to blow up too. Okay, here we go. That one went way over there. How about this pink one? The trickiest part with rocket balloons is getting them onto the nozzle. Oop. I think this one might have a hole. I'm gonna have to try another one. Hang on, friends. I'm gonna try another pink one, see if this one works a little bit better. Here we go. Ready, set. I'm gonna blow up some rocket balloons and I'm gonna release them into my magic lamp, and hopefully you can see them soaring around. That one looks like it's dancing. All right, I'm gonna try another one. Okay, here it goes. It's blasting all over my lamp. What do you think about rocket balloons? Here's some rocket balloons soaring around outside. They're great to take outside because they just shoot off and catch the wind and fly in the air. Isn't that neat? So what do you think about rocket balloons? They're kind of fun, aren't they? I love how they whiz all around the room and go all over the place, but I'll tell you, it's a little hard to follow all these balloons as they're whizzing around. I hope that you were able to see them in action because they're a lot of fun. And maybe you can find some of your own to play with. Of course, helium balloons that float for birthday parties are a lot of fun, and water balloons for water fights with your friends. And balloons like this that you can blow up and twist into fun animal shapes. And away it goes again. Oh, I'm having way too much fun. I hope you had a great time with me today reading If You Give a Pig a Party. and George at the parade. And I hope that you get to have some fun with some balloons and other activities, and come back and visit Cosette and myself in the magic lamp again soon. I'll see you later. Bye.